Alrighty, it's time to do yet another guide to Railjack. This time we're going to be looking at when RNG still hates you, except now it's going to be a lot easier because DE did finally do the great reactor buffs that gave everyone a lot of nice reactor buffs. So, for example, if you happen to get a Vida Reactor Mark 3, but it was the absolute trash tier plus 30, it has now been bumped to a plus 90. My one, which used to be a plus 94, has now been bumped to a plus 99. And then also some buffs came to the Zetki reactor, so they used to range from 10 to 50, now they range from, I believe, 70 to 80. So that's what we're going to be using. We're going to be using the exact same Zetki Reactor Mark 3 that we were using before, actually, but because that one had plus 49 avionics capacity previously, being at the super duper high end, it has now been bumped to a plus 80 avionics capacity, and that allows us to produce a build like this. Now, first things first, I am going to be using Particle Ram and Seeker Volley in this video simply because I don't want to spend so much time like just screwing around with my guns. I want to actually use some abilities. So I've chosen the two most common abilities. You can actually get these on Earth. So you can actually get Seeker Volley just by farming cutters on Earth, which are like the super duper basic bitch enemies. And you can also get Particle Ram by farming the cannon turrets that show up on various asteroid fields, asteroid clumps. That's really what you can kill in order to get Particle Ram. Otherwise, in terms of the integrated avionics, this build should actually be more or less the same, if not ever so slightly better than the previous plus 49 avionics build. So, Conic Nozzle Ion Burn. The Ion Burn that we're using is the same Ion Burn that I would normally use in my normal build, as opposed to the super duper big dick Ion Burn that we were using in the plus 49 build. Reason why I want to do this is because I actually want to have some extra space for a tactical and eventually also battle avionics. Otherwise, we're using Hyper Flux, Hyper Strike, Polar Coil, Forward Artillery for extreme laser cannon damage, as well as Warhead, which of course increases the damage of our missile in form of a Tycho Seeker, and also the Seeker Volley. We're also going to use just good old-fashioned Lavan Bulkhead because, again, I don't need Zetki Bulkhead. And we're going to be using Hull Weave in the Vida class. The reason why I'm using Hull Weave, and I'm actually going to be a little bit pissed right now, is because DE actually did go ahead and fix that whole thing where winged avionics affected the Railjack. I 1000% disagree with fixing this. I think that is a horrible idea. It kind of now makes winged avionics just completely useless in every way, shape, and form. The only two that ever saw any use anyway was Wing Steel and Wing Cyclone. For those of us who love speed like me, Wing Cyclone was awesome. Now my ship is ever so much slower. For those of us who wanted armor, Wing Steel was actually pretty good. Meanwhile, the other two are just going to continue to be completely useless. Now, all four are useless, and I don't think that's a good idea. I don't see any particular argument to use the Wings series anymore, so I'm really disappointed that this got fixed. But anyway, in terms of the tactical avionics that we're going to be using Battle Forge. Now, originally I was going to use Void Cloak, but it turns out that Void Cloak actually can only be dropped in the Veil. So, nope, we're not going to be using that at all. If you do have Void Cloak by the time you reach the Veil, somehow, whether you got it by joining someone else or whether you bought it or whatever, then I would definitely recommend using Void Cloak. It is super duper useful. But for those of us who don't have Void Cloak for RNG reasons, let's use Battle Forge. Also, real quick, when it comes to the weapons that I'm going to be using, I have decided to use a Zetki Photor Mark III. Now, originally I was going to once again re-emulate that video by using the Zetki Cryophan, the exact same Zetki Cryophan that I had before, but I decided, you know what, I actually want to burst some bubbles without jumping to my side guns, looking like a little bit of an idiot. So I've decided to go use the Zetki Photor. It is actually very powerful. So here we are in Gaian Point, making full use of 700 energy. That's from using the Zetki reactor, plus of course the Hyperflux, which means that the overall strategy that we're going to be using is to spam Seeker missiles as much as possible against a small group of enemies. Here we have a bunch of level 36 enemies, some elite cutters, some non-elite cutters, question mark? I don't know. Oh yeah, there's one non-elite cutter right there. The armor nerf to the enemy fighters has actually benefited Seeker Volley pretty well, not terribly well enough that it can like do as much damage as I would like it to do in the Veil. but it's definitely now performing a lot better than it used to. Now the main problem with Seeker Volley again is that against a large number of enemies like we have right now, we're going to be struggling. Especially when one of them is an Outrider. So typically against an Outrider we're going to just use our Tycho Seeker Mark III. Because we have so much energy anyway, we get to spam the Seeker Volley, so that's definitely something you can consider doing. But again, I do want to stress this. The armor nerf has, at least at level 35, meant that the Seeker Volley is performing decently for the most part. Now this is the reason why I wanted to use the Photor as opposed to the Cryophan, because I want to burst those bubbles. That's basically it. Otherwise, the Photor actually does have, in much the same way that the Karkanos has, armor stripping capabilities, but I'm actually not 100% sure if I can strip all of the armor, so let's find out. We're going to blow this thing up? Question mark? We'll find out. Hey, it worked! Huzzah! So the Zetki Photor Mark III has enough firepower, or more importantly has enough status chance to strip the armor of a level 35-36 cruise ship to the point where I can blow it up with the good old-fashioned laser cannon of death. I also recommend not using Seeker Volley when you're near rocks, because sometimes the Seeker missiles end up blowing up on rocks, and that is a totally bad use of your Seeker Volley. You destroy those shield generators just by shooting them with the Photor, provided of course you don't miss like a schmuck! This is demonstrating amateur hour right now. There we go, that's how you do it. There we go. Spam those missiles. Unfortunately, some of those missiles are getting wasted on that cruise ship, which is not helpful at all, but, you know, we're gonna blow it up anyway, so all good in the hood. When you have that many enemies out on this field, you might as well start relying on your particle ram as that kind of melee weapon type offensive. And feel free to, like, get in nice and dirty and like actually ram them as well, because your ship ramming them actually does some damage. You don't even need rank 10 pilot to do some extra damage actually, so that's kind of nice. Ah, we got all our energy back. Yes. Now we're going to spam. And because we're using the Zetki reactor, we're going to spam 7 times, which means a lot of missiles, 350 missiles to be precise. Also, pro tip, possibly, a good idea might be to try and spread out your damage from your Photor and try to get as many fighters as you can to have less than 100% armor. That way you have more chance for your Seeker missiles to actually just blow at least something up, which is a lot better than not blowing up anything at all. What we're going to do is we're actually going to take out the middle ship, preferably. If I can take out the middle cruise ship. Nope, I guess we can't. It's too far away. Yeah, the middle one's too far away. But I will take out the one on the right. Now, I'm actually not going to delete the one on the right. I'm actually just going to take over it, and then I'm just going to jump out. Get out. The idea is that then it can actually be like a sort of Trojan horse kind of thing, and it can actually be a bit of a tank for me.
Ship captured. Drive it like you stole it.
Oh, that didn't work at all. Oh, that didn't work at all. Okay, pro tip. don't time it so well. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, this didn't work out. This didn't work out even remotely as well as I had expected. Get out! Let me out! Let me out!
Ground slaves inbound. Roll out the welcome mat.
Well, at least it turned into a complete disaster, so that's a plus.
Ground site launch detected. Looks like a party. Crew, we have been boarded. Tell them that we're not buying.
That's it.
Air order, hull rupture. Omnis, go. Omni crew required. Electrical damage. Boom. Cruise ship eliminated. Focus on remaining targets.
So in conclusion, even without a Vita reactor, we're still able to get away with quite a lot. Using something like a Zetki Photor Mark III in Gaian Point, you are still able to strip enough armor to destroy a cruise ship using the Great Space Laser Death Cannon. And we're also able to actually use a lot of that energy to spam things like tons and tons and tons of Seeker missiles. Seeker missiles still not particularly effective against a giant clump of enemies, but when you have only a handful of enemies, Seeker Volley does end up doing quite a bit of work. Otherwise, that's pretty much it in the way of playing Railjack whilst RNG still hates your guts. As you can see, it's a lot easier, you're able to fit in a lot more things. Probably didn't make much use of the Battle Forge, so I guess if you want to use Fire Suppression instead, that's totally up to you. That might actually be a better option. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. If you have any questions about anything that has happened in this video or just anything about Railjack in general, feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more WarFrame content, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye!